Earlier today, Xbox announced the 2024 Xbox Game Showcase, and even a secret new Direct that's going to follow it. If you're an RPG fan, get excited. This is going to be a gigantic year for RPGs, and even Bethesda Game Studios should have several very interesting things to reveal here. And even though we only just got this announcement earlier today, we are already starting to get leaks around when we could start to expect some of these new releases. But you should also check out these new releases from Displate. Displate offers high-quality metal posters that you can easily swap out and rearrange. A whole new line was just launched for the Fallout TV show, but they also have options for all of your favorite games, whether it be Bethesda or even just Xbox overall. And if you use my affiliate link down below, you could even get these at a bit of a discount. The Xbox Game Showcase will take place on June 9th, 2024, and begin at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This will have both an online and in-person viewing option, so if you actually want to attend this event, make sure to sign up now. And this will be the first event from the new, thicker Xbox, as they confirm features for Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, Xbox Game Studios, and even some third-party partners. The main event will be followed by a secret new Direct. Last year, of course, we had the Starfield Direct, and it seems like this is going to be a formula Xbox continues to use. A deep dive into a singular large release, and it looks like this year's is going to be around Call of Duty Black Ops. The official title of this game isn't known, but a lot of speculation is the next Black Ops game is going to be Gulf War, and we know it's Black Ops because you could find this exact logo in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. That confirms it's Call of Duty, and this orange used is the exact same one from the Black Ops numbering. A new Gulf War Black Ops definitely should be interesting, but even if you've been ignoring some of the recent Call of Duty games, this could be one to pay attention to. This is going to be the first Call of Duty released after a full 4-year dev cycle, which they recently switched to, as well as it being the first new release under Microsoft. But of course, what we're truly interested in are some of the major new reveals from Bethesda and even several RPGs we can expect from Xbox. An interview literally just from yesterday, Todd Howard confirmed that Starfield Shattered Space expansion will be dropping this fall, but he also suggested that it's going to be featured at the summer showcase.
Shattered Space is coming along nicely?
It is. We're going to have some stuff to show. I can't say.
What do you think of summertime,
No.
maybe? Right around SGF? What are you doing? June, something there? Got a showcase going on with Xbox? What's happening? Monday? Sunday? Monday?
Yes.
Tuesday? Okay.
Monday.
Fine. Have it your way.
Okay.
And it seems like this expansion will probably be quite large, so they may have a lot to show for it. Starfield had this giant QA period, and work on the expansion may have ended up beginning a bit earlier as a result of that. They stopped adding new content to Starfield a bit earlier because they required so much time for QA due to the massive scale of the game. At the end of last year, we heard how there's about 250 developers still working on Starfield at Bethesda. A chunk of that 250 are just working on continuing updates, but you have to imagine with how small some of these recent updates have been, the vast majority of that 250 are working on this expansion. So this should mean it should have over a year of dev time with a very large team working on it. And we may even know a more precise release date beyond fall. Tom Warren of The Verge just said, "I understand Bethesda is currently targeting September for Shattered Space. Activision is targeting the next Call of Duty for late October, with Avowed and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 likely to follow in November, and Indiana Jones in December." And if that all comes true, it means the end of 2024 is going to be absolutely massive for both Xbox and Bethesda. And one thing I'm predicting is for the summer showcase, we end up seeing a larger presence from Fallout. We've recently had these rumors pop up that Microsoft wants Fallout 5 out sooner. All of this a result of the insane success of the Fallout TV show, and even in this recent interview, Todd Howard makes it clear Bethesda was not expecting this level of player interest in the Fallout games. So now, at least according to Jez Corden, Microsoft wants to fix this by getting out the next game as soon as possible. And we may have even had Todd Howard accidentally reveal that 2 new Fallout games are on the horizon. During this interview, he was asked about other studios working on Fallout, and he does say,
And so we look at what we're doing with the franchise, and then we say, do we still feel good about, I can't reveal it now, but here's our runway for the Fallout
Yeah, you can do
as
it.
a franchise.
You can reveal it now. It's fine.
When is season 2 happening? What are we doing on mobile? What are we doing in 76? What are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with this other thing? And when are these landing? And again, if I could snap my fingers and have them all be out and ready, I would.
The line many are pointing to from that is, what are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with this other thing? And when are these landing? This may suggest that 2 other Fallout projects are underway right now, and perhaps we could see some of these at the summer showcase. One way Fallout will definitely pop up at the showcase is Fallout 76. We have a major new map expansion and a new questline coming in June. It's almost certainly going to have a very prominent trailer at this one, but if anything, that'll be more of a reminder than a reveal. That Fallout 76 update will already have been in test testing on the public test server. I already covered the first half of it that is on the public test server right now. Although, that's not the only update on its way to Fallout 76. It seems like this June update is predominantly being worked on by Double 11, while Bethesda Game Studios Austin just released a new Atlantic City update a couple of months ago, but has now moved on to something, very likely working on a fall or winter update for Fallout 76. This definitely could be one of the projects Todd Howard is referencing in that quote, a Fallout 76 update, which while exciting, is a far cry from a completely new Fallout game, but then you have the other thing that Todd Howard mentions. And with even Microsoft wanting stuff out faster, what could this be? Obsidian is dropping Avowed at some point in 2024, so it honestly is plausible that the Avowed team moves on to a new Fallout project, or maybe this is already happening. Maybe Avowed's wrapping up right now, and the concept phase of the new Fallout game is beginning. The head of Obsidian literally said as much just a couple of years ago, and that studio actively wants to work on more Fallout. With the summer showcase being so close to this gigantic Fallout surge, it would not shock me to see a casual reveal of whatever the next Fallout release is. Almost exactly what we got with the Elder Scrolls 6 and even Indiana Jones the first time we heard about that one, revealing that a new Fallout game is on the way and naming whatever developer is working on it, as well as some clues as to what the location will be. And while I wouldn't go into the showcase expecting this, I also don't think it'd be crazy for this to be revealed there either. People from all sides of the aisle are begging Xbox right now to make a new Fallout game, so something like this would be a gigantic win for Xbox and probably get a lot of fans incredibly hyped even if it's still years away. And it also makes hiring for that project way easier. Announce Obsidian is working on Fallout and devs will be coming out of the woodwork to apply for that job. That's exactly what they just did with Indiana Jones at Machine Games a few years ago. But if Todd Howard really is talking about a new Fallout project here, I kinda doubt it's a brand new one. We only got that rumor around Microsoft wanting a game sooner last week. If Obsidian's only just starting work on this, it would be really short notice for Todd Howard to be bringing it up casually in an interview. And to me, the more likely explanation would be this Fallout 3 remaster. We kinda have this cheat code when it comes to Bethesda's 2024 reveals because Microsoft accidentally leaked this Bethesda roadmap earlier last year. We somewhat need to take this with a grain of salt. It was made back in 2020 before the Microsoft buyout, so you have pandemic delays, the buyout, and just in general, 4 years went by, so plans change. But if you just apply a 2-year delay to most of the things on this list, it does end up becoming incredibly accurate. And it would suggest that a Fallout 3 remaster is still a couple of years away, but definitely on the horizon. Perhaps Microsoft tries to move this up, push it out next year thanks to the recent hype, but it seems entirely unrealistic that they would actually have this out this year. I've seen a lot of speculation around this, and I think it's a very low likelihood. So a Fallout 3 remaster was definitely planned by Bethesda at some point, but again, I'm not predicting we hear about it this year. Thankfully, an Oblivion remaster is something I think we definitely could hear about this year. This is an interesting one as it is one of the few leaks we've had with converging evidence. A Reddit post popped up in July of 2023, talking about several games supposedly coming from Virtuous Games in Paris, including one codenamed Alter, a remaster/remake of Oblivion that is done using a pairing system between Unreal Engine 5 and the original Oblivion engine with Gamebryo. And yeah, that is a thing. Games are now being remastered where they layer the engines, use something like Unreal Engine 5 for the epic visuals, and you could rework individual systems as you go. But otherwise, the rest of the game feels just like it did originally because it's the original engine underlying everything. This was such an outlandish claim for a random Reddit post leak that I honestly kinda believed it even just off the bat. In addition to the fact that it wasn't just an Oblivion remaster leak, which of course a ton of fans are calling for, but instead it leaks several projects apparently on the way from Virtuous. The moderators of the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit also verified this post. The user was actually an ex-employee of this company, and separately I reached out to these mods to verify that for myself. Nate Drake, a separate insider who just recently leaked that Arcane Lion would reveal something at the Game Awards. This is that big Blade reveal we just got. And at the same time this Reddit leak came out, they said they heard that an Oblivion remaster was being shopped around and seemingly Virtuous is where it ended up. Then just 2 months after all of that happens, we get another leak from the FTC trial. Microsoft accidentally attached this Bethesda roadmap to a Phil Spencer deposition, and on it you could see an Oblivion remaster. And even just yesterday, Todd Howard mentions how Bethesda Game Studios has 5 dedicated teams, one of which is towards outsourcing and working with third-party studios, which is exactly what this would be, working with Virtuous. So I'm not saying Oblivion is definitely getting a remaster, but I am saying it could happen. And with many of the rumors and even this roadmap pointing towards 2024, we very well could see it at the summer showcase. showcase. Although, honestly, a March 2025 release date to go along with the 19-year anniversary of Oblivion also sounds like it could work pretty well. We could see some announcements of games coming to other platforms. Earlier today, Hi-Fi Rush was rated for the Nintendo Switch. Seems like that could be announced at the showcase. But beyond that, this roadmap lays out 3 more mobile games, Indiana Jones, Starfield DLC, as well as an ESO expansion, all coming around this time. And yeah, I would expect all of those things at the summer showcase. According to Tom Warren, Indiana Jones is dropping in December, which makes me think there won't be a hands-on over the summer, but we'll almost certainly get a full-fledged trailer and gameplay of Indiana Jones at this showcase. Last year, I went to Summer Game Fest Playdays in LA, and I was able to go hands-on with Phantom Liberty quite a few months early. I would expect at least some of the announced games from Xbox, and hopefully some of the things I mentioned in this video, to get a similar treatment for press and media. I really doubt Bethesda would do that with Shattered Space. They don't typically give players hands-on that far in advance, but for some of these other games, like Indiana Jones, or even some of the other Xbox RPGs, I definitely think there's a chance that we get some hands-on impressions, and get subscribed because I'm going to this. Although we may also be getting a look at some of the games coming in 2025. Tom Warren says that Microsoft is supposed to have a lot of games to show this year, more than the 2023 showcase. We should expect to hear how the 2025 lineup is looking, with some launch dates for some anticipated Xbox games. That's really nice, just on one hand, so we can actually plan out when some of these games are coming, but you also have to imagine it means that some of these titles will be releasing in the first half of 2025. They'll drop the dates now at the big showcase, then likely give us an update later this year or early next year. And some of those titles may be from Bethesda. On this roadmap, we could also see a Doom game from next year. Project Kestrel is this giant new ZeniMax Online Studios MMO, and even Project Platinum, which is very likely a new Wolfenstein game. I would say Wolfenstein's unlikely, just due to the fact that Indiana Jones is also being made by Machine Games, so I doubt they'll have 2 entries at the summer showcase. But the ZeniMax Online Studios MMO has been in development for a long time, and they have to show that eventually. I definitely think 2024 could be the year, and the same applies to Doom. Perhaps it'll be there, but it also could just be reserved for next year's. And of course, even beyond that, when it comes to Xbox overall, there are some seriously epic RPGs we can expect deep dives into this year. Avowed is definitely the big one. We know it's coming in 2024, and Tom Warren says it's probably coming in November. And from what we've seen, this seems to be one of the more further along games. I wouldn't be shocked if hands-ons are given over the summer. Last year, we got a ton of gameplay and details, although sadly, this was met with a bit of disappointment. We learned that Avowed originally began as Obsidian's Skyrim, but over time was scaled down into something Obsidian was happier with. To me, that wasn't the best of news, but at the same time, it's Obsidian, and I'm really curious to see what they actually deliver here. We didn't get that much of a look at some of the questing content, and I think that could be what sells a lot of people on this game as opposed to some of the combat. The Outer Worlds 2 is also being worked on by Obsidian, and this is a bit of a weird one where it technically began development before the first Outer Worlds even came out. It was this weird interperiod at Obsidian where they were wrapping up the first Outer Worlds, but then Microsoft bought them out, and seemingly they immediately funded the second Outer Worlds game. So as crazy as it may sound to get both Avowed and the Outer Worlds 2 at the showcase, it also wouldn't really shock me. I think the Outer Worlds 2 is much further along than a lot of people realize. Clockwork Revolution is definitely the big one though. This is a big Unreal Engine 5 RPG coming from inXile. This is a return to an FPS from them, and they describe it as an in-depth RPG. I am incredibly excited for this game. This is probably my most anticipated Xbox RPG on the horizon. And in the past, we heard how this game was internally targeting a 2023 release date. Obviously, that never happened, and as of right now, we don't really know when this is dropping. We got the first major trailer just last year at the showcase, but no date was attached to it, so while 2024 seems plausible with how much they already have releasing this year, I wouldn't be shocked if they move it to 2025 just because things are so busy. Plus, based off the fact that this looks like it's a game where you could turn back or have some degree of control on time to change storylines and quest outcomes, you have to imagine this too will require quite a bit in the way of polish. And if I was buying stock in individual Xbox studios, inXile is the one I'd buy stock in. I think once we get the full reveal of Clockwork Revolution, it's going to blow a lot of you away and become your most anticipated game. But even further, we've heard how inXile is working on a second Unreal Engine 5 RPG, and it looks like this is set in an existing IP, with some rumors pointing towards a Dune game being in the works. If we get a full-fledged open-world Dune RPG from inXile, I will be a very happy man. And then we have Fable. It seems very likely that Fable will just get some kind of gameplay or cinematic trailer at this event, although we did hear a couple of months ago from Nate Drake that this too was targeting a 2025 release date. And those are some of the large projects that have relevance to this channel that I think there's a pretty good chance of us seeing this summer. There's of course going to be more than that. Xbox and Bethesda should have a massive 2024 overall, but those are the big things. It seems like this fourth quarter in particular particular is just going to be stacked with a ton of new releases and a ton of great content every month, and as a result of that, I wouldn't be shocked if at least one of these major games gets a surprise release date over the summer to kind of tide us over until everything else this fall. But if you are looking for more Bethesda, check out this video where Todd Howard discusses the future of Fallout.